In this lecture video, we will talk about ethnography. Ethnography is one of the ways of eliciting or discovering requirements. It's basically an observational technique. So, why ethnography? Software systems do not exist in isolation. They are used in a social and organizational context, and software system requirements may be derived or constrained by that context. Satisfying these social and organizational requirements is often critical for the success of the system. One reason why many software systems are delivered but never used is that their requirements do not take into account of how the social and organizational context affects the practical operation of the system. What is ethnography? Ethnography is an observational technique, and this technique can be used to understand operational processes and help derive support requirements for these processes. An ethnography analyst, will immerse himself or herself in the working environment where the system will be used. The day to day work is observed and notes made of the actual tasks in which participants are involved. The value of ethnography comes in these forms. First, it helps us discover implicit system requirements that reflect the actual ways that people work rather than the formal processes defined by the organization. What I mean to say here is the organization may put work standards or procedures for work, but how actually employees work may not be completely in adherence to those standards, or not to those standards, to those procedures or processes. People may deviate from standard processes, people may modify the working processes for their own convenience or for any other reason. Ethnography is an observational technique which will definitely discover these implicit requirements of people who work with these systems. People often find it difficult to articulate details of their work because it is second nature to them. They understand their own work, but they may not be able to understand how their work relates to other work that happens in the organization. Social and organizational factors affect the work, but again, this is not obvious to individuals. It may become only clear when noticed by an outsider, an external unbiased observer. Let's consider an example. A work group may self organize so that members know of each other's work and can cover for each other if someone is absent. This may not be mentioned during an interview as the group might not see it as an integral part of their work, but it still happens. Discovering the following type of requirements which are mentioned here is again particularly effective with ethnography. Let's see what requirements are these. First, ethnography helps us to discover requirements that are derived from the way in which people actually work rather than the way in which process definitions say they have to work. For example, air traffic controllers may switch off a conflict alert system that detects aircraft with intersecting flight paths, even though normal control procedures specify that this should be used. They deliberately put the aircraft on conflicting paths for a short time to help manage the airspace. Their control strategy is designed to ensure that these aircrafts are moved apart even before problems occur, and they find that the conflict alert alarm distracts them from their work. Second kind of requirements are the ones that are derived from cooperation and awareness of other people's activities. For example, air traffic controllers may use an awareness of other controllers' work to predict the number of aircrafts that will be entering their control sector. Then they modify their control strategies depending on that predicted workload. Therefore, an automated ATC system should allow controllers in a sector to have some visibility of the work in adjacent sectors. Let's take a look at how ethnography can be combined with prototyping. Let's take a look at this diagram here. First phase is ethnographic analysis. In this phase, what happens is this. The ethnographic analyst or the team may determine what problem you are seeking to better understand, develop a problem statement that raises questions to seek to know more about it. They may also identify the best place to conduct such a research. You may choose more than one location if the research question or problem warrants for that. You may select a location that will provide the best opportunity for you to observe the people at work. They may also consider the most effective ways to obtain objective information. Will you be adopting a role of a person in the community or organization you are observing? Will you be covered, or will others know that you are conducting research, or will it be a silent research where nobody else knows that they're actually being observed, and so on? That becomes a part of ethnographic analysis where you decide the basic setup, the basic requirements even before you start the actual observation or the technique of observation. Once this is done, they meet again to brief, share information, add information, modify the way they are going to approach to elicit requirements. And then comes the focused ethnography, where you're actually performing the task of observation with an objective to collect data, maybe in terms of recordings, maybe in terms of making notes, how people are working, interacting with each other, and maybe some implicit requirements which are not stated on document will be discovered here. Now let's see how this ethnographic elicitation and analysis can be used in combination with system prototyping. So this is another set happening, simultaneous activity that is happening, where a generic system development process is in place. That is, you're going to analyze the requirements, you're going to design a system, and you're going to develop a model for the system or a prototype, a working prototype of the system, and you're going to place it or give it to the customer so that the customer can work with this model to identify new emerging requirements. You can see there are two sets of activities happening here. Both of them have the same objective, finding new requirements. So this is the ethnographic technique of observing how people work in a work environment or with a system. This is where the software developer or the team is building a model of the working system even before delivering the final model and deploying it for use in the customers. So you can see here, you can actually use ethnography to make observations of how people are working with the system prototype or the model. You can meet for debriefing and adding additional requirements, modifying requirements based on implicit working styles that are not actually documented in a work order, and so on. So you can see, you can evaluate the prototype again based on the ethnographic observations and based on the outcomes or the observations of the system prototype, how the model works actually, whether all inputs are considered, whether the system behaves in a way that is acceptable under all conditions, maybe erroneous conditions, maybe exceptions, how well they are dealt with, whether normal sequence of flow of operations or normal flow of operations is correctly working, giving you the desired outcome, and so on. So implicit behavior as well as implicit actor behavior or worker behavior, employee behavior, along with actual system behavior or model behavior, both of them can be combined, and you can evaluate this prototype in order to better understand requirements or discover new requirements and add them to the system which you're going to deliver to the customer. So this is how ethnography can be combined with system prototyping, and the ethnography will inform the development team of the prototype so that fewer prototype refinement cycles are required because they have observed how the user is using the prototype. So most of the implicit requirements will be added to the next version of the prototype, and this will gradually reduce the number of times you have to remake the model and give to the user before an actual system is out. Furthermore, prototyping focuses the ethnography by identifying problems and questions that can then be discussed with the ethnographer. He or she should then look for the answers to these questions during the next phase of the system study. Ethnography studies can reveal critical process details that are often missed by other requirements elicitation techniques. However, because of its focus on the end user or the actor who is involved, This approach is not always appropriate for discovering organizational or domain requirements. They cannot always identify new features that should be added to the system by using ethnography alone. Ethnography, therefore, is not a complete approach to eliciting requirements on its own and should always be used to complement other approaches such as use case studies, use case analysis, and so on. So, in this lecture video, we have understood why ethnography is important because systems have a social and organizational context, and if they are not accepted in a social and organizational context, even though they deliver the required functionality, it is highly likely that these systems will not be used. We've also defined what is ethnography, the observational technique of operational processes, working environment, where an analyst will immerse himself in the working environment, make a note of day to day works and interactions of the users with the systems. We have also understood the value of ethnography, where it is really useful in places where you have to discover implicit requirements that are not actually put on paper, when social organizational context is there, when there are requirements that can be derived from the working style of people rather than the process that is defined by the organization, and so on. We've seen where ethnography can be combined with system prototyping or model building of the system, and both can be used in conjunction to effectively reduce the number of iterations, reduce the number of models that have to be delivered before an actual system is delivered, and which will result in lesser time, lesser cost, and a happier customer. We've also seen where even though ethnography is an effective technique of eliciting requirements, since it focuses on the end user or an actor, it cannot be efficiently used for discovering organizational domain requirements or identifying new technical features that need to be added to the system. Ethnography is a wonderful technique of eliciting requirements, but again, to make the most of it, it should almost always be used in conjunction with other requirement elicitation techniques. Thank you.